Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and today we're going to keep working on our React Native Web math game. Before I get started with code, I'm going to go to live chat, just say hi to everybody. Let's see. Hey. Let's see. Cool, just a lot of hellos, no questions yet, so that's cool. If you haven't joined in before, this is how it goes. I'll set a timer for 25 minutes. I'll do some coding, and then after that is up, I'll go to the live chat and I'll answer some questions. Okay? And then I'll just keep going back and forth with the timer and then answering questions. Today it's going to be a little bit shorter than normal because I have a meeting scheduled in 59 minutes, so you got to be finished. I have everything set up for the meeting right next to me on another laptop, so we can go right up to that time, but I can't go over. So let's get started. I'm going to set my timer. This is just a Pomodoro timer, and just want to let everybody know we do have a GitHub repo for this project, so if you want to check out the code, it's there. I update it at the end of every stream. I'm going to paste that into live chat. It's also available in the description. If you're wondering why we're using React Native Web or exactly what this project is about, you can check out some of the previous streams. So this is the 5th stream in the series. Okay, I'm going to start the app running yarn start. Alright, so right now, basically we have an app, and this is the hero character is this square here, and these are the enemies, or the red squares. So you get it right, a red square disappears. If you get all the red squares to disappear, you win. If you get it wrong, then the red squares keep appearing, and right now it's set up to keep appearing until you hit 6, and then it stops at 6. Okay, so right now we just have addition. So what I'd like to add today is a subtraction option, so that the user could go on to subtraction and select whether or not they want addition or subtraction, or maybe even a mix. So let's see if we can get that incorporated today. Probably what I'll do first is just add it in. I'm not going to worry about the UI element to select whether or not which game mode you want. Let's just get the game mode working first, and if we have time we can add in the toggle or the selector. Okay, so here's what I have so far. I'm using Visual Studio Code. I'm going to try to get rid of as much as I can to give us room for the actual code. Right now we're doing our problem. Where is it? Oh, there it is. So we're checking if something is correct right here in our check answer. We're using the plus sign, right? So in order to add this other game, let's see. Alright, here's what I'm thinking right now. We could do a switch statement, and inside the switch statement we set the value of what correct is, and we just change the operator, right? I guess that's what this would be called, the math operator. So from addition to subtraction, and later on we can add multiplication and division. Let's go with that for now. Maybe I'll have a better idea at some point, but I think that should work. Okay, and I'm a big fan of the switch statement. I've always liked it. So Yeah, the only other option I could think of is actually making this part a variable, the operator, but I don't know if we can do that. Yeah, I don't think that will work. So every time I do a switch statement, I always do the same thing. I go to MDN and I copy and paste their switch statement example because I don't use them often enough to memorize the syntax. So JavaScript switch, and MDN is one of the first links that comes up. I just copy this and paste it here, and then we can change it. So let's pass in, yeah, when we do check answer, let's pass in operator, okay, and we'll pass in operator into the switch statement. So we'll have our cases here would be if the operator is addition or subtraction, and while we're at it, let's just add multiplication. Okay, and I guess we could also add another case for division. We're not going to actually create any of the logic for that today. I don't think so, but we'll have it there. And then in here, instead of a console log, we're going to add this. So let's say we're just going to define correct up there, and then down here we'll actually do the set the value, right? So okay, so for addition, right, everything's the same. For subtraction, we're going to copy and paste that, and then we're just going to change the plus sign to the minus sign. Okay, for multiplication and subtraction, I guess, or multiplication and division, I guess we could just do this like while we're at it. While we're in here doing this, we may as well just put these in. So we'll have multiplication and division. Okay, and then we will have a default, which this will, if something gets passed in that is not covered in any of these cases, it'll just go to the default. And for now, I'll just say default. I'll just say not an option. This will just log to the console. Not really worried about what it says. Okay, so now we can get rid of this. So what should happen, what I hope will happen, is when we call check answer, now we will pass in whether we want it to be addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Okay. And then based on that, we will check to see what the correct answer is. Sorry, I didn't have any caffeine yet today, so I was hoping I would get some automatic styling here, but I'm not getting it, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of this formatting myself. That looks terrible. I guess I don't have my linting set up correctly yet for this computer, so maybe that's why. Either that or I have some sort of syntax error. I guess we'll find out. Alright, everything else should remain the same. The only other thing that we want to change here is the display, right? So we are displaying the math problem. Where do we have this? Should be here, right? So we definitely don't want to display that. Let me think. How am I gonna do this? Alright, so this is just gonna be a string that's gonna have the operator. Okay. I guess we could say operator, and then by default we'll have addition. And then down here, depending on what gets passed in, we could set the state to a different operator. So let's say this dot set state operator, and we could say plus. Here we'll say, let's just keep putting these in here, cover all of our cases. So our operator here is subtraction, we'll have multiplication, and division. Yeah, these operators might be a little bit different than what children are used to seeing, like in school. They would probably see like an X instead of this, and maybe like an actual division sign. I'm gonna leave it like this for now, and later on we could come back and maybe change that out after I maybe test it out with my kids and see if they understand what's happening. And then down here we can change this, right, so that now it will have this state operator. Alright, so let's save that and just see if we have any errors. Alright, hey, no errors that I can see. We'll do, we'll inspect the page here and go to, wow, this is so zoomed in. Let me zoom out a bit. I want you all to be able to see it, but I think that was a bit too big. Each child in a list should have a unique key prop. Okay, so we don't have a unique key prop in one of our lists. That's fine for now. It's probably where we're adding these in. Alright, so that works. Let's just verify that our answer checker still works. So 4 plus 6 should be 10. Not an option. Oh, you know what? We forgot to pass in when we call answer checker. So where am I doing that? I think I'm calling it maybe from down here. Yep, this dot check answer. Let's just say we're gonna pass in addition. Actually, let's make this a let's pass in this state dot mode. Let's have this state mode, and then we'll So mode for now is addition. Okay. All right, we'll see if that works. Not an option. Did I not pass it in? Alright, I see a lot of stuff in the chat, so hang in there. We got about 10 more minutes, and then I'll go over to the chat. Let me check React quickly, see what the value of the state is. Node addition. Okay, so it does say addition, but what about... Alright, let's put in a breakpoint. So I want to see what is coming in here as the operator. Why is it? Alright, put the breakpoint there. There we go. Okay, undefined. Oh, I wonder if... Maybe I need to put this in... Alright, let's see... No, that's not gonna work. That's not it. What am I doing wrong here? This state mode. Is it? I think that I don't have access to the right this here. Is that my problem? Let's see. Okay. I'm not sure if anybody's said anything about this in the chat, so let's see. Let's do alright, if we do this, and we can call this check answer this dot state dot mode. I know that I have access to state here, so I can call handle submit. Alright, let's see if that works. John Hansen says, you know how much easier this would be with React hooks? Actually, you know what? The React Native update that has React hooks in it came out on like Tuesday, I think. So we probably could use hooks. I'll just need to update the version of React that we're using. Alright, so maybe I'll try to do that before the next stream. Alright, but let's get, well, I guess we can keep our breakpoint just to make sure it's working. Okay. Alright, doesn't really matter. Operator. Okay, addition. Okay. 2 plus 9. Oh, let's unpause that. Uh-oh. It's still not working. I think maybe the problem was not what I thought it was. Okay, so we saw that operator was addition. Am I spelling addition the same way? Like, let's check basics, right? All right, so it should be passing in the string addition. Let's find a ADDIT. Oh, I have a typo. A typo. And I think like everything that I just did was unnecessary. It's funny how you can look at that and not realize that you had a typo. Alright, yeah, that works. Okay. Wow. Okay. So that works. Now if we change it, for right now, let's change it manually. It's from addition to subtraction. Okay, and we'll manually change this for now. And now let's see. We have subtraction. So let's see if it works. Yeah, it works. Awesome. Cool. Now, addition is pretty simple to deal with. When we get into some of these other modes, especially for like the very basic level of small children who are just learning math, we might want to think about putting in some rules into our logic that'll prevent things like the last problem I think that popped up on the screen had 0 minus something, right? Small children aren't going to know about negative numbers, so that shouldn't be presented to them. So we may want to have some sort of check, when we generate these numbers, that the result isn't a negative number. Or then when we go to division, we might want to check to see like we only want whole numbers, right? We don't want decimal numbers. So we'll have to keep that in mind. I'm not going to go into that on today's stream, but that's definitely going to be something that I think will need to be in place. Otherwise, the game will be just way too hard for the target audience, which is, children that are just starting out, learning math. All right. I got about a minute left on the timer, but I'm going to go ahead and just take the break now and go to the live chat and start answering some questions. All right, so I'm scrolling all the way to the top and just go as quickly as I can down through. I'll probably skip a lot of the comments and just get to the questions since I'm running on a tight schedule today. Milano asked if I could fix Nightbot. I have no idea how Nightbot works, so I don't know. Excuse me. Stark's Music asks about a super chat option. We don't do super chat, as far as I know, on the freeCodeCamp's channel. So that wouldn't really be up to me anyway. I am just one among many volunteers for freeCodeCamp. Let's see. Okay, Daniel did confirm that you can't make operators variables. Daniel's also excited about switch statement. It's awesome. Razva says, have you used Adonis.js for backend API? I have not. I have no experience with Adonis. So, maybe if anybody has any info about Adonis and what's good about Adonis, why would I want to use Adonis? Let me know. All right, John Hansen has a JavaScript question. Is it better to define a variable global scoped or within an argument? If there's a callback, it calls another function. Do you need to pass that variable along with it? Yeah, I would say in general, do not globally scope a variable unless you absolutely have to. So the default should be not to globally scope things. You want local scope. And if it has a callback... Oh, wow. I'm sorry, I'm yawning so much. Yeah. Do you need to pass it with a callback? I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking if like when you chain things with .then, you have to pass things. But now I don't know if we had a callback. I think you would, but I'm not 100% sure. Are like block scoped variables accessible to a callback function? I guess that's the question, and I'm not 100% sure. John Hansen says React is often thought of as an app or components, each containing their own functions. Global or local scope is often my question. Okay, yeah. In the context of React, I would say like if try to keep everything local if you can, but if it needs to be accessible from different components, then then global is a way, I guess, to go with that. See. Okay, there was a question, but it was actually for somebody else in the chat, so I'm going to skip over that. Let's see. So there's a question from Jagon. What is my first step to becoming a pen tester? I guess start learning how to do it. and then do the testing on sites or systems that you have permission to test on. So pen test is penetration testing. So it's like almost like hacking when you have permission to hack a company, right? So you're testing to see how hard it would be for, or how easy it would be for hackers to get into their system, basically. So yeah, I don't know a lot of the details about how to become a penetration tester, but just in general, I'd say, like, you would want to start learning about it and working with it. There may be special certifications that you would get for that I don't know about, so I would check into that. Jagon says, I want to make a fortune doing bug bounties. Okay. If that's your goal, then you probably don't need to be certified. Just learn how to do it and start trying to find bugs. Alright. Almost to the bottom of the chat. I'm just going to go ahead and finish up with whatever questions are in here before we start up again. Oh, okay. There's actually no more questions. It was just comments and replies to previous questions. So if you're interested in the replies and everything, you can certainly check out the live chat in the right now or in the recording. To save time, I'm not gonna read them off. All right, cool. I'm not gonna set another Pomodoro timer since I'm gonna have to finish up probably before this timer will go off anyway. But now that we have this, the ability to change our modes in here, let's try to create some sort of UI element that will allow a user to change the modes. So remember, eventually we're probably going to have at least 4 different options: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So we could have... I mean, we could do like an input. Let's see what React Native gives us in terms of inputs. There we go. Here's our components. A picker. Let's see what. Maybe this would be the best thing. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try this, see how it looks. So I find it helpful sometimes when I want to add something in React Native. I start thinking, like, how am I going to build this out without realizing that React Native already comes with components that are like pre-made. So it's good to try to go with the pre-made ones, especially if you want to create these apps for different platforms, because they were already made with that in mind. Whereas if you were to try to build your own, it may not work like you think it would work. Like me coming from a web development background, I would tend towards like, hey, I'm just going to build it like I would for the web, but that might not work with Android or iOS or whatever else you're going to build for. Okay. Okay, so this does render iOS and Android. That's good, because I see there's another one called Picker iOS, but I think this is the way to go, and it should work for both. Alright, so let's put this in here. For now, I'm not going to worry about where it goes. I'm just going to put it in there. We actually do have to import Picker, right? So we can import that from React Native. Picker. And let's just see how it looks first. Cool. Yeah, this is actually perfect. I mean, it's not the best looking thing ever, but it does what we want it to do. So let's just use this as the basis, and we'll just see if we can toggle between addition and subtraction. Alright, so just based on what we have here, let's see. So we have an OnValue change, okay, and we can pass in the item value and the item index. Okay, so let's give this a label of addition. I spelled it wrong again. ADDITION. Okay, and let's say subtraction. And you know what? I want to make this even more clear for children what it is. So we're gonna put in the little symbols here, right? Subtraction. Okay, so now we're passing. We can set state to. Yeah, actually, so we can. Let's set mode to be the item value, and alright, so this works for item value. And then are we setting? Okay, good. So we're setting what this is going to be here. All right, I don't know if this is component update. We're gonna have a problem. Let me just do it, and then that way everybody will see the problem if you don't already see it. But let's save it. Alright, so right now we have addition and subtraction. So let's check our state right now and just see what happens. I need to. Alright. Okay, you should be able to see it now. Alright, so here's our state. Our mode is subtraction. Now our mode is addition. Alright, but the problem is right now, like, it doesn't change this. Right? So, so we need to make sure that the operator also changes. So let's go back here and say where are we at? There it is. Okay. I really want to be able to pass in like another value. Let's go back to the React. The easiest way to do this would be if I could pass in both values and set the mode there. So let's go to the documentation and just see what options we have. So on value change, now it looks like we just have, it just has two parameters. Item value is the value prop. I wonder what the value could be though. Like, let's try this. Right? Does the value actually have to be a string? I don't know. Let's see if we can make it something else. Okay, so maybe we can make the value an object, right? worth a shot, right? So we could say mode addition operator plus. Alright, let's save that. See what we get. And if that is the case, we can then say operator equals item value. Item value dot operator, and this would be item value dot mode. And I should probably copy and paste that, otherwise we'll definitely get an error because it'll be looking for these and obviously won't be there. Subtraction, let's give it a minus sign. Alright. Okay. Each child listening key. Invalid prop value supplied to picker item. Okay. So can't pass an object. I guess it has to be a string. Yeah, we could see. Right, it's not working. It's not passing that. Okay. Let's see. All right, so let's forget that idea. It was worth a shot. Now I know that you can't pass that. So I do have another idea. I was just kind of hoping that I wouldn't have to do this. Okay, that's all back to normal. So we say OnValue Change. We are for sure changing the mode. Oops, not back to normal completely. There we go. Okay, so we're for sure changing the mode. We run this as state mode item value, but also what we could do is, all right, we could make handle mode picker, and then in that case we could have pass in a value to this, and within here we could have another switch statement, which this is why I didn't want to do this, because it's getting a little ridiculous with all these switch statements, but this will work. At some point this is definitely going to it'll be worth it to say maybe like do a refactor, but basically like we already have all the logic we need in here to do what we want to do. We can just take this out, right, and we're setting the state here, and we could say mode, and the mode is equal to val, right, the value that we're passing in. And I forgot the other part of the arrow function, right? We're not val. There we go. Okay, so we're passing in val here, and right. So this is really all we would need to do to make that work. And if it works, I'll explain it more about what's happening, but let's wait and see if it actually works first. So we'll call this dot handle mode picker, and we'll pass it item value. All right, let's check it out now. Okay, so we do need to handle like what is going to be the default when we, well, I guess we'll just change default back to addition. All right, so we got subtraction now. Let's try addition first, see if that works. Okay, that worked properly. 1 minus 2 is -1. And then let's try something that doesn't work for sure. Let's go back to addition. 9. Okay, cool. So this does work. I do want to go back and change the default to match what the default would be in our picker. Okay, so here's what I did and here's why it worked. So before, let's see. So we had it working so that it would change the mode, but we really needed to change the mode and the operator, right? Because otherwise the user would not be able to see the correct operator on the problem. Like they would potentially, they could like select subtraction, but it would still show addition down here, right? So that would be very confusing. So that's why we couldn't just change the state, you know, right from our picker, right? The first attempt was to try to use an object here. You can't. It's the type assigned to this by React Native is evidently just string. So that's why we had to go up here and create a method to handle what to do whenever the user changes that input. So in this case, we're setting the state of the mode and operator. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Let's see how much time we have. Okay, I'm going to go back to the chat now. So essentially we have accomplished what we said we were going to at the beginning, which is we put in another mode, subtraction. It works. The logic works. It's not perfect yet, right? Remember, we want to make it so that negative numbers would never be an answer. So we still need to add that in. But we also, and I wasn't sure we get this far, we also added a UI element so that a user could select which mode they wanted to use. Okay. So not bad. And we've already set up most of what we need for the other modes, for multiplication and division. So really it wouldn't be that much more difficult to do that. We'd pretty much just have to add some more values to the picker, and we would then have multiplication and division. So not too bad. In fact, I want to try that out really, because I think we did put everything in that we need. So let's try that. So all we need to do here is just, we'll copy and paste that and change a few things. Multiplication. And division. Okay, let's check it out. Alright, cool. Multiplication. This should be 0. Yay. Let's put in a wrong answer. Okay. Let's try division. Alright, definitely not. This is going to be harder till I get one that is really easy. Oh, what happened here? Oh, I see. Well, since we added this element in, the screen is kind of compressed, so we're not getting those lines in between. Come on, I want one that I could do in my head. 5 divided by 2. Can I do this one? It's just like point. 20, 40. Is this 0.4? 5 by 5, 1. Oh, I don't know what I was thinking of the percentage that 5 is of 2. Never mind. Okay. All right. So we did get one right. So division works. So all of them do work. So we've actually added 3 modes. And really, it wasn't that much extra work. Cool. All right. Let me check. We'll do a git commit, and we'll check this into the repo, and then I'll go to the chat. So I want to make sure you all have access to this code. So let's do a git status to see what's changed. Make sure it was just what we wanted, which, like I thought, just one file, because we are only just working in one file right now. We'll do a git commit. We'll use AM as the flag, so we'll add and commit at the same time, and then we'll also have a message to put in. So add modes. I'm not going to spell out everything. Add modes and UI mode selector. Alright, that works. And I'm going to push that. And now all that code is available on GitHub, so check that out. We'll do a little refresh. See, we have 5 commits now, right? So latest commit was 18 seconds ago. That's our commit. So all our code's here. You can check it out in the GitHub repo, and here it is. Feel free to submit a pull request if you think that there's something you really want to do, or submit an issue. If you don't want to actually code it, but you just want to give me something you think should be added to the project. I added one earlier that's just a reminder, like, hey, I need to add a README instead of this default thing that comes with Create React App. So anyway, that's it for the coding. Let me try to answer as many questions as I can in the next 2 minutes or so. Okay. All right. John asks. John Kiladidis. I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry, John. Says that they're new and where would be a good place to begin. I definitely say try freeCodeCamp.org. I learned so much when I was starting out, and I still go to freeCodeCamp.org, so let's try that out. Alright, Michael noticed that the edition label was spelled wrong, so thanks for noticing. Too bad I didn't look over and see that. John says, that picker needs some CSS style. Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, John says, Jesse can't spell, his only weakness. If only that was my only weakness, I would be okay with that. Alright, I'm skipping through and just trying to find questions right now, so if I don't see your comment, apologies. Let's see. So we have a question. Why do you prefer VS Code over, for example, WebStorm? I don't know. I've never used WebStorm, so maybe I would like it if I tried it, but I've never tried it. So I really like Visual Studio Code though. Also, I had a question: does he actually read the chat? Yes, in fact, I do. Michael asked if I could pass an array. Actually, that would have been good to try. So, but I don't know. Maybe we can try that at some point. Michael says you could send a comma delimited string and then split it. That also could have been an option. That would have worked. I should have looked over at the chat then. John says, does React Native allow the use of ref? Yeah, you can use ref. At least in the web. I've gotten it to work in the web version of React Native web. So I've not tried to use it on like an emulator for iOS or anything like that. I have a question. Tyler says, is JavaScript your language of choice? Yeah. JavaScript is my primary language, although I have used other languages before, and I'm currently learning more about C# because the back end of the project I'm working on at my normal job is written in C#. So, but definitely JavaScript is my go-to. If you told me to build an app as fast as I could, I would use JavaScript. Tyler also said, and follow up to that, do you need coffee? Yeah, for sure. Michael says, addition is actually still spelled wrong. Oh, seriously? Should I still spell it wrong? What the heck is wrong with me? Why can't I spell? Alright. It's spelled wrong right there. No. Oh, man. Alright. Somebody open an issue and tell me to learn how to spell. Or just fix it. We'll get to that next time. I can't believe I can't spell addition. But anyway, so so for those of you who may be Catholic, you know that it is Lent right now, and if you're not familiar with that, it's a time where we usually like make some sort of sacrifice. So I decided that I would only be drinking water for Lent, and so that means no coffee for me. So it's been pretty hard. It's been over a week now, and I have still a long time to go, but I feel okay. It is like it's rough in the mornings. It is really, but anyway, all right. Okay, I have 1 minute till my meeting starts, so I have to go now. Thank y'all so much for watching and for all your advice in the chat. I'll try to pay more attention to it next time. And I don't know. This is good. We did a good job, even though I couldn't spell. I think I'm happy with how much we got done on the stream today. So anyway, I appreciate y'all being here again. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend.